now move into the next segment, which is a presentation by Vivek Sarbhai. Vivek Sarbhai, the Senior Director Supply Chain and EHS at India and Middle East for Thermo Fischer. And he will talk to us about how Thermo Fisher managed to transform the supply chain in response to the recent disruptions. Vivek, you have 10 minutes. And
I think I'll be able to finish in 10 minutes.
Yeah, thanks.
Good evening, everybody. And I think it has been a great session so far. And whatever I'm going to talk is also not, it's going to rather echo what you have been hearing. So the theme for my presentation is, and I will delve more and more deeper into it, is that how do we automate the routine and humanize the exceptional? When I say humanize, it's a machine plus man combination. And I think it fits very well so far, whatever I've heard from so many speakers, that the digitalization is the new normal and people are going to attempt. And in the earlier session, when Dr. Gatona was speaking, he actually made a point that the new competitive advantage will be in the area of doing things faster, and it's no more the difference between the big and the small. And I think realizing that, I think I'll just talk through what we have been trying to do in Thermo Fisher. Just before I go there, I don't know, many people may not know what Thermo Fisher is all about, but if I have to just simply tell you, it's a $30 billion organization. It has the largest market share of COVID RT-PCR kits across the world, including that in India, as well as anything to do with physics, chemistry, and biology, or biotechnology, or biosciences. Anything to do with science engineering, you will find Thermo Fisher is participating in that. And our vision is how to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. So I think for us in Thermo Fisher, our is a unique organization in the sense that we have actually done exceptionally well in the pandemic because of our divisions. One of the division which produces products for COVID has done exceptionally well. So our challenge has been always, so we had a what should I say, a more of a K-shaped business curve. So some of the divisions were not doing well, but some of the divisions which we had were just going through the roof. So what I'm now going to talk to you is how are we trying to create this massive tragedy into an opportunity, not for the future. And I'm doing this presentation when we are actually coming out of the pandemic, in a sense. So the demand shock or the supply shock which all of us experience, I think in the coming year or so, we will probably be not seeing the shocks, but we might see the bumps, both on the demand side and the supply side. And therefore, we have to keep building and keep doing what we are trying to do with a horizon of at least 2 to 5 years. So here, what I'm trying to say is that the key thing here, or the key opportunity which I see in supply chain management, are actually twofold. One, I'm trying to visualize that channel leadership, including the omni-channel capability, will become one of the most important parameters or rather strategic imperative for the supply chain to go after. And secondly is, how do you build the data science as a competitive advantage with a very clear view of how do you become time to market, faster time to market. And EHS here means environment, health, and safety compliant. So these are the three elements which I would like to just focus on. And the reason I put this large box around the information flow, physical flow, and cash flow is because data science is not just in physical flow or information flow, it will also be in cash flows, and which is what I mean is by the digital payments, digitalization of numeric data around finances, everything will. So the second slide here means that, why it is important is because there are a couple of changes which are happening, and they're actually exponentially changing the whole landscape, which is basically driving connectivity and therefore creating scale. Otherwise, in the past, we felt the right strategy to drive connectivity was to create scale first, become profitable, then we invest to drive connectivity, whereas it's the other way around now. mainly because of mobile phone penetration, faster data, now 5G is also coming, and lower data costs. So everything is now happening or available on our mobile phones. And one of the consumer insights is that people are losing patience to do things in a manner. So if you used to wait for an Uber for 7 minutes, now you want it to happen in 2 minutes because of the used to nature you have to the digitalization of a mobile app. Lower IT costs. I think the IT costs will continue to go down because of the cloud availability. And I think I foresee a lot of funds will continue to get pumped in to make the whole supply chain more digital. And that will improve the tremendous capability we need to have in the end-to-end supply chain. And imagine we did not have a GST, and we did not have the flexibility if this pandemic would have happened. So I think a simplified network due to GST is also opening new models for distribution. My last point here is that all this will actually result in very new business models which might emerge. There are already some talks of consortiums, shared services model in transportation logistics, and I think that will probably gain as we go forward. However, the moot point here is that there'll be only two kinds of companies at the end of this decade: those who are using data science and those who are out of business. And I'll probably give an example of a very different industry. If you look at Indian stock market, and I'm not trying to propose any stock pick here, but I'm just probably this data is in public domain, so you guys can have a look at it. If you look at an insurance company, there is an HDFC Life, there is a SBI Life, and ICICI Life. Very good brand names, very good business model, same industry. The rates are regulated by IRDA. But if you look at the stock market, the way it values, it is valuing HDFC Life significantly over ICICI and SBI. And when you go into the deep details of why this is happening, and one of the core competence or core competitive advantage of HDFC Life is seen as in data modeling. Same are some other companies, including if I have to take some names in logistics, it's Asian Paints. Uh, its core competence, if you go and deep into understanding the way they are able to give a higher return on their capital, is ability to protect their high market share and be very digitally enabled right across the entire enterprise, which is seen as a core competence of that organization. And it's not about quality of paint they manufacture. So this is where the new competitive advantage is going to happen. And if you don't develop it, it will be too late for most of the companies. So this is where I'm just giving a more of a peep into what we are trying to do. So we are actually working on a 5-year roadmap, but we have kind of drawn the broad contours, and it will be based on 5 pillars. With the customer at heart is basically all about adopting a world-class customer service KPI. And it is not about fill rates, quote, which is a normal metrics. We are adopting a net promoter score, which is what is the most globally accepted way of looking at customer service. And we'll use that to understand our customer satisfaction. Just to give you an idea of what this is, it has quantitative measures to it, like a fill rates, but it also has a qualitative measure to it. So it actually tells you whether the customer will talk about promoting your organization easily or not, if I have to simplify that. So we are going to look at adopting that and then building an analytics and supply chain design and whole planning systems around how do we use that data to drive an improvement. The second aspect, which is like plan to win, is all about how do we do integrated business planning. And I'm not worried about the long term, I'm not worried about the capability here or the assumptions or the risk element of it. But I think getting into the habit of replanning with long-term horizon with multiple scenarios. And I think one of the speakers alluded to the fact that scenario modeling will be extremely crucial going forward. The third thing is all about, I'll talk about more of a logistics side of it, and I will say there are 2 elements to it. One is a zero loss mindset. We have heard of it a lot about if you know about integrated Lean Six Sigma, but it's about building that zero loss mindset around analytics to drive agility. And agility is all about, in our business, especially in Thermo Fisher, it's all about doing things faster, better. So time is the most important element around which we can compete and give service to our customer. So a zero loss mindset is needed. So for example, what we're trying to do is, if we are doing some things in 24 hours, we are looking at to build capability to do in 2 hours. So that's the kind of reduction in time we are trying to attempt in case of transactional processing around orders, around GRNs in warehouse, picking, every aspect of entire supply chain activity. Fourth one being in logistics is all about segmented logistics network. So if you recall what Dr. Gatona was showing, there are multiple supply chains with different focus. Fortunately or unfortunately, Thermo Fisher operates in almost all those kind of focused supply chain networks. So one of the divisions might be requiring a lean strategies. One of the divisions might require a campaign strategy. So how do we look at segmented? And for me, segmented is very simple: time versus cost equation around the logistics network. The fourth one is digitalization, which is my favorite here. And I'm trying to give you a bit of a stage-wise roadmap. So it will start with building automation. Then it will go to data science, and then it will go to agile enterprise-wide decision making. So we are at the stage of, I would say we are quite advanced in building automation. But I think in the space of data science, we are looking at a lot of opportunities. So I normally do at least 2 or 3 sessions with a lot of startups who approaches us to understand what is happening in the market and what we can adopt, etc., etc., so that we start to embark on this journey. And the fourth one is people, which is, and I will start with productive, and I'll tell you what I mean here is that I have actually done in the last 6, I mean, if you look at this year, I joined this company only in July, but if you look at the full year, Thermo Fisher attempted almost 120 innovations on automation. And I think in the last 6 months, we have done almost 65 innovations around completely automating the process, which resulted in 2 things. One, the mundane nature of the job, which people used to do, they've got liberated out of it. And secondly, as I said, our business did very, very well. So I can share some published numbers. We grew 87% in quarter 3 in India, and our manpower was 10 or 15% lower than what was budgeted. And in a scenario where if you ask me, the biggest savings which I've got in logistics is basically because of people cost, and it's basically because of the way digitalization has, or rather automation, if I'm being very technically clear about it, which I've been attempting. The second thing is how the people will be networked, and I think that's where the culture starts to come in. How do we network enterprise-wise, not just enterprise-wide, but across suppliers as well as our customers, and then training them and building a culture on that. The human aspect or the intelligent aspect of the human mind should be focusing on exceptions and driving innovation. So I think that's where we are trying to attempt the people side of it, which we call talent powerhouse. And it's in the centerpiece of it, mainly because as the 4 blocks around the talent powerhouse will evolve, the talent needs to be at a lead level, not at a lag level. So we have to get the talent ahead of anything which we are trying to do in the 4 other pillars. Finally, what is the leadership approach? I think in the past, we had the flexibility of doing things in a very disruptive manner. I mean, there used to be a management quote, and I worked in an American organization. I've heard a lot in most of the companies that choose the people who want to be in your bus, who can be in your bus rather. And I would say that approach will not work. You have to be very clinical about it. You need every person. You don't know who will get infected. Your project timelines can go for a toss. So it has to be very clinically thought, and it can be clinically disruptive, and most importantly, open and inclusive, mainly because you need all the right people with you. And in our business, it's a bit of a technical side of business, so we need knowledge to remain in our company. So this is what, Girish, I had to share. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Let's check on the questions, Vivek. It's a very interesting model to see the customer at heart, and actually the people at heart, the talent at heart. Because at the end of the day, if the people are capable, then the service and everything else falls into place. And then you have the technology, the strategy to back it up, and the also looking at the zero loss mindset that you did advocate. Very interesting. We don't seem to be having any questions at this point in time. So I think we can quickly move on to the next. I thank you very much, Vivek, for having taken the time off and spoken to us on this crucial aspect of supply chain transformation that you are seeing in Thermo Fisher. Thank you very much. Pleasure having you.
Thank you.